Alright guys, Scrappy here, and I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Shotzzy has revealed a bit more insight into the current situation behind the scenes at OpTic, saying that, yeah, it's not exactly ideal in terms of their preparation going into their upcoming games and feeling confident in their own abilities as well. Is this going to turn around though, especially with other options potentially on the radar? Rumour has it that Skyz will shortly be out of his contract with Gentlemates. Is that an opportunity that OpTic could consider? Maybe a short-term fix, maybe not for the longer term, but at this point, something might have to give. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Plenty to get into. Starting here, this is JoeDeceives. His numbers so far from the minor and of course the qualifiers as well. He's on a 93 overall right now. He has one in the, 99 overall, which is, he has the highest for an SMG, kills per 10 minutes in hardpoint in the entire league. His hill time is up there as well. Damage isn't far off. Great numbers really across all of the game modes. That's a 93 overall. Don't know what the highest card is so far. I know there was some people in the reply saying, oh, where's Scrappy this time? We'll see that in due course. You know, is he on for a 99? And it's like, yeah, he's on for a 99. Like, he's always, at least in the ballpark, of getting a 99 rated card. Scrap on Thieves, especially with the stage that they have had so far. There was a bit of drama about this. Look, I don't agree with Nameless's picks, and we discussed that the other day. I think many of you guys in the comments were saying, and I totally understand it, that look, if you are going to put Simp number 1, or even number 2, or even number 3, where does aBeZy sit in the conversation? So the aBeZy Simp debate to me still is kind of fascinating. If I have aBeZy, I'm probably looking at it thinking, I'm getting hard done by here to some degree, because in my opinion, if Simp is first, aBeZy, it's really difficult to put him much lower than a few points lower than that. Now, Simp isn't first, in my opinion, and Scump isn't fifth, but, you know, that's my opinion. The point really being that for the majority of Simp and aBeZy's career, well, for the entirety of Simp's, they've teamed together. Now, aBeZy had 1 year before Simp came in, so in World War II, aBeZy played on, like, Enigma 6, and a couple of teams in the World War II season didn't do especially well. He was good, but he, you know, had a bad placing at champs. That kind of drags down aBeZy's averages to some extent. But he was still good that year, and it was his first year in, so it doesn't really count on some level. Simp, to be fair, came in and was immediately absolutely godlike. I mean, he was MVP, you know, winning the World Championship in his first season. It was almost a joke. But over the last few years, aBeZy and Simp have been pretty closely matched. In my opinion, has Simp been better? Because some would argue even the other way around in terms of impact, that aBeZy's been better or more impactful. You know, I don't think so. I think Simp's been the better player. Marginally, right? I don't think it's been particularly close. And you can go through many of the titles and you can debate it, right? I mean, okay, Black Ops 4 was Simp better, sure. Go to, let's say, Modern Warfare 19, it was Simp or aBeZy better. I think it was kind of close, probably had leaned Simp's way. Then Cold War, was it Simp or aBeZy? You know, some pros will tell you aBeZy was better in Cold War. Some will tell you Simp. I think, look, the majority of games, Simp has been slightly better, more impactful, but then again, aBeZy's been the first blood demon, and its numbers might not be as good, but in terms of importance to the team, aBeZy has maybe even been more important at times. In Cold War, I think you maybe could make that argument. Certainly some people have. In Vanguard, it was Simp. That was not a great game for aBeZy, really. That maybe is the 1 year that kind of drags him down. Then MW2, MW3, again, maybe Simp was marginally better, but it was pretty damn close between the pair of them. I mean, aBeZy's play on Breenberg Hotel still lives pretty rent-free in my head. So, yeah, intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below, right? But I think there were people saying this and thinking, you know, Simp and aBeZy have teamed together their whole career. They've got effectively the same results. It's not like one of them has been substantially better than the other. So why is it always Simp that gets into these conversations when aBeZy is seemingly nowhere near on these lists? Definitely intrigued to your perspective on that one. Speaking of Simp, though, there was a bit of talk about the state of FaZe at the moment, just because their search and destroy has slumped to some degree. I don't know if Tupac Thuglord will be popping a tweet about it again like he did during the Major 1 qualifiers before then swiftly going rather radio silent when Cloud9 weren't very good and FaZe ended up winning. But, you know, maybe that's turning around now to some extent because their search hasn't been as good this stage. Like, it's online at the end of the day. Who knows? But crucially for FaZe and for Thieves, I think they'll be pretty happy about this because LA Thieves, they effectively lost the Major on their search and destroy and on FaZe's good search and destroy. that may be a different story. This, by the way, was on at the stairs leading up for the player lounges. I think I recognize this from the Madrid event. So they're like the entrance here, the VIP entrance was here on the left-hand side. There were the elevators. And then you had these stairs up to like the first floor, but this was kind of like the ground floor basement area, really, where all the pros and their kind of setups were, the personal player areas, or whatever they call them. Now, let's talk about what Shotzzy had to say about this OpTic situation. Like, CDL Hater Central is back at it again. I had to accept cookies to see OpTic Texas because, you know, they were down here at the bottom where the Falcons are at this stage, unfortunately for them as well. Now, yesterday, OpTic tweeted this out. Now, as a recording, I'm still not 100% sure exactly what this is and what this is going to mean. But, yeah, so let's have a look at this image here and try and figure out what's going on. So, presumably, they've done a roundtable style podcast that we've seen before, and we have Pred, we have Dashy, we have, presumably that is Hitch, we have Karma, and then we have the other boys on the right-hand side. Now, is this recent? I guess that's the question here, because if you look at the backgrounds, the first thing that you'll know, of course, is that it says Call of Duty Championship Weekend 2024. And if you look at the logos, you'll see New York Subliners, an organization, of course, that no longer exists. You'll see Seattle Surge, an organization that no longer exists. So, you know, on paper you think, and you say Los Angeles Guerrillas, right? They're, of course, Gentlemates now. They've got a different logo. So, okay, what's going on? Because this is at the venue where the World Championship was held. They're right in the center of the stage, and there's, you know, no one else around them, right? So, you know, was this recorded last year? I guess that's, you know, firstly, that's the question, right? Because is this old, or have they fired it up for new and they've just said, all right, well, we're going to use the venue and like we've got the old graphics for the old events. Like, let's just run those so it looks cool in the background. Like, I don't know exactly. But the thing is, to me, if this was old, then surely it would have been published, right? I think that's what kind of confuses me a bit, is that if this was recorded last July, like, it's March, right? Like, they wouldn't be tweeting this if they weren't going to release this as a piece of content, right? So, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm genuinely a little bit confused. And therefore, people are looking as well about, okay, is this Pred from now, or is this Pred from last year? Is this Dashy from now? Is this, you know, I know people were like analyzing the Dashy hairline and stuff. You know, I thought it was going maybe a little bit too far. But, you know, and then Karma, like, people were saying, was Karma's hair like that at Champs last year? Actually, though, this could be the secret, because I did just find this image up of, well, this is the World Championship trophy, right? Here's Blaze, here are the OpTic guys having just, I think, won it. And this is Karma receiving the trophy with short hair. Now, again, I mean, did he get it trimmed like just before the event, and therefore this is I don't really know. Do I massively care? I don't care enough to really dive into it in more detail. The point is that people are looking at this and saying, oh, you know, why have OpTic tweeted this, and also what are OpTic laughing about, right? And this is the thing, OpTic, unfortunately for them, with their recent struggles, they can't even have a good time anymore because they're just going to get roasted, which, you know, it's understandable, but I'm sure for them it is still pretty frustrating. But yeah, so this is the OpTic situation as it's unfolding right now. But I also wanted to share what Shotzzy had to say. And Shotzzy actually did a whole video on this, right? He kind of took, well, I imagine he himself didn't do it, his editor probably took some of the moments on stream over the last couple of days and broke it down into a whole YouTube video where he was talking about some of the issues and what's been going on. And I wanted to show a little bit of that here where he's talking about the kind of, you know, mental struggles that OpTic are presently going through.
How's the team mental as a whole? I mean, obviously not good. I mean, like, we want to win, bro. And obviously, we're not fucking winning. Do you think he's gonna stay like that till Major 2? I personally think it won't. I don't think so. No. I will say, at least this week was like the best week we've had in terms of practice. And like I said before, everyone says, "What the f are you saying?" Because obviously it's not translated into matches. Which, like, trust me, I don't get it either. It's definitely frustrating as a competitor because, you know, practicing for the entire week and then showing out to the matches like that is the most frustrating thing because, I mean, this goes with everyone. Like, everyone's been putting in the time and all that stuff, so it's definitely, like, frustrating as a competitor, but...
You're under contract, what makes it even more difficult. I mean, I've said this, like, a few times. My contract ends in a month and a half because I signed a termination thing. So, I think at worst case, my buyout would be, like, a month and a half of salary. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be like expensive. If it is, then GG.
This is also interesting to note though, right, this Skyz situation, because his contract with Gentlemate is going to be terminated. There's like a termination clause that comes into effect. It's obviously pretty rough for Skyz in the sense that, you know, Priestahh's not been great, but effectively has been replaced by Priestahh in that team. They're sticking with Lunarz. Lunarz has not been good so far, to be honest, but, you know, they've made a move. They've decided to pick him up. They think he's a potential player for the future, and sure, I understand that logic too. So, you know, we'll see what they decide in due course. I don't think Lynz is going to be going anywhere, but their team, of course, right now is a bit of a shambles. But clearly they've decided that they've done a lot with Skyz. They've made a couple of changes. Skyz was in, Skyz was out again, and they've just decided, okay, like, we're not really going to mess around with this any longer. So unless something dramatic happens, he will be, you know, a free agent, terminated contract with the ability to pick him up with no buyout required. If necessary for OpTic, maybe something to consider. There has been talk about whether OpTic could or should buy out somebody like Kismet, just because of any organization that could be available to some sort of buyout. Gentlemates have got to be up there, right? Like, their team's also a bit of a shambles. They may need a full rebuild in due course. They may allow their players to go for not much money because, you know, other teams, this is the issue with OpTic's current struggles. Other teams know that OpTic are in a really difficult spot. They know that they will be looking for other candidates to join their team. And therefore, if there is any negotiation to be done, the other teams can hold some serious numbers against OpTic Texas. And it's not necessarily money that OpTic really have. I mean, like, obviously they pay these guys a lot of money. They took pay cuts at the end of last champs, we believe, in order to keep making this roster happen. It's not like OpTic just have, you know, millions of dollars to go flashing around at Cloud9 and FaZe and Thieves and try and sign some of those guys. I mean, okay, maybe they do, but it just doesn't seem likely. Surely the plan has got to be to try and fix it up with the team that they currently have or make some small adjustments. I just know there's been a bit of concern because people are looking back to, I mean, this, for example, was the World League Championship back in 2017, of course, that OpTic ended up winning. This was one day of matches, by the way. Today, we get one of these is the whole day. But no, there were 24 matches to be played, 6 match slots during the day, and then 4 different stations with games going on the whole time. Like, if you guys missed out on this, I do feel for you to some degree. It was interesting because I always thought about this today. I was like, wow, if I was covering that on YouTube, like, it would be a nightmare because there's just so much COD happening all the time. I wouldn't even know what I've been talking about, and the matches are finishing so late in the day that it was just horrific for European fans often. So for me, the CDL nowadays is like, it's more comfortable in terms of the times that it's on and the amount of games, I guess. But these were still the days on some level. Anyway, OpTic ended up winning this event, and they next season was a shambles, right? Like, it was, they made a finals against FaZe. They lost it at the stage 1 playoffs, but the team then blew it up, and former lefty went to LG. Calm was benched, and Calm eventually came back. But, you know, I know it's reminded people of something similar, that was the Dynasty team that dominated that season and won the World Championship finally. And then it wasn't many months later that they blew up their team and they dropped 2 of their players. You know, whether something similar happens this season, who knows? I guess time will tell. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.